Shalom. We'll get started here in just a few moments.
So when the disciples asked him, what shall be the end of the world? We look up the word end, which the word end is suntelia, which means completion, consummation. And because when an empire is complete, what happens? It becomes consumed. And what happens? The power and regions, lands, and riches of that particular empire is translated or transferred to the next rulers that conquered that particular empire. And that's why when Yahweh Shai comes back, it says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. So all the thrones of the heathen nations being casted down, that's what Yahweh Shai is coming to do. He's coming to battle Esau and the other nations, to take them down, to be set back up into power on the earth, because his glory is already in the heavens. He already got his praise and his glory and his status, everything in the heavens. But as the Apostle Paul says in Hebrews 2, that we see not all things yet put under him, because not everyone is acknowledging and praising and lauding and crediting the names of Yahweh Shai as being the Lord. They're calling him Jesus, Yeshua, Yehoshua, and all those other different names. Some of them are calling him Yeshaya, Isaiah, but they're not crediting him as Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, a so-called black man, coming to take power on the earth and to get the rest of his blessing and glorification on the earth. All of these empires are going to be transferred or translated over to Yahweh Shai, and he's going to share it with us.
Revelation 15. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, remains filled of the wrath of God. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto my power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Hakodash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. In his son's name, who the world and called Jesus Christ, real name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Also give a praises, honor, glory to the Yahweh Hakodash, the Holy Spirit, which is the force and entity that makes his edification possible. We want to say shalom to our youth sincere heart of Akim, Wak, that you brothers and sisters make your bodies a living sacrifice on a daily basis in this wicked and adulterous generation. Also want to give double honors unto my beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and who rule well. And I'm the brother Azamawat here from Great Millstone Dallas Camp, coming back this morning through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shah to do another lesson. And our Lord's will, this lesson be found edifying and exhorting unto the elect, all right, the elect of the nation of Israel, as well as glorifying unto the names of my power, Yahweh by Shemal Shah. And shalom to you, Akim, Wak, tuning in this morning. Yahweh Shemal Shah Brakatham, Wak, Bogakar to Wak. But I want to get into some breaking news, all right, prophecy, all right, as Yahweh Shemal Shah is definitely speaking, okay? He's speaking in many ways, okay? Ultimately, he's speaking through, all right, his prophets, the mouthpiece, okay, his mouthpiece, which is his prophets, okay? He's speaking through, all these different type of signs that's happening upon the earth, signs that's happening in the Shemayim, in the heavens, okay, this week. As a matter of fact, Wednesday evening, which, we're coming into a new moon, okay, a Sabbath, this Wednesday, I believe, this Wednesday, 2 days from now on the 12th, we're supposed to have a 6 planetary alignments. Okay, it's supposed to be a lunar eclipse as well. Like, come on, man. All right, and in the midst of all this, of course, this war is escalating. All right. So this, so everything is right on schedule. Prophecy is right on schedule. Yahweh Shema Shah is definitely not missing the beat. All right. And we have to keep up, all right, with the pace of the spirit. All right. And how do we do so? By measuring the times. Okay. Measuring the times diligently within itself. Okay. So we can be prepared and not be caught off guard. But mainly what I'm gonna get into here in this topic, here in this lesson this morning, the topic, as you can read the title, says breaking 911 system hacked in Suisan, California, and Babylon's illusion of security is being dismantled, because the truth of the matter is that America was and never is and never will be safe. Okay, it ain't safe. It ain't safe. All right. But the thing is, you people, you Babylonians, all right, you just had the illusion of security, okay, false sense of security, okay, in the form of 911 systems, okay, in the form of governmental aid and assistance. All right. But see, but these things are being stripped away. Okay, that false sense of security is being dismantled. All right, now just real quick before we get into some videos I got queued up, um, I want to grab the meaning of false sense of security. All right, it says a false sense of security is the feeling. All right, see, and that's all it is. It's just a feeling. Okay, it's not fact. It's not true. It's just a feeling of being safer than one actually is, often leading to complacency or risky behavior. Okay, and Esau's media, his lies, his pseudoscience, okay, his Egypt's chariots, the spiritual Egypt's chariots, his military, it makes you people, feel safe, which in reality you're not, because the power of heaven and earth is against this place. Yahweh Shema Shah hates America and is slated for destruction, thus saith the scriptures, the Holy Bible. All right. And even speaking that, preaching that, okay, here very soon, okay, we know that some of us are going to be locked up. Some of us going to, become martyrs because of our faith, because, okay, we don't shun to declare, okay, what Yahweh Shema Shah is going to do to America, aka Babylon the Great. All right. It says a false sense of security often occurs when an individual or group believes they are protected from danger or risk, but in reality they are not. This perception of safety is misleading. Okay, and some of the main okay people that really feel that way, is our people. You Israelites, you so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, as you have hidden yourselves underneath the shadow, okay, of Egypt, the shadow of Pharaoh. Okay, but Pharaoh is not going to help you. Okay, you going down to Egypt, there's no safety in that, only destruction. Okay, and especially the women of our people, okay, the Israelite women, blacks, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American women, they all feel safe. See, but a hard dose of reality, okay, known as prophecy, is about to slap everybody in the face. It says this perception of safety is misleading and can result from overconfidence, incomplete information. See that? Okay, and this goes into and Esau's media plays a major role in giving you incomplete information. They give you bits and pieces, but it's incomplete. So you watch the news, okay, and you see all these particular terrors happening across the world, but then they're not telling you, okay, the impending doom and danger that's here for America. They're giving you bits and pieces. So you're relying upon incomplete information, thinking that you have the whole package. So it leads you to having that false sense of security. And we're going to get some scriptures, because scripture speaks about this. Okay, that rejoicing city that dwells carelessly. All right, it says, this perception of safety is misleading and can result from overconfidence, incomplete information, and overconfidence is pride. See, and Yahweh by Shemal Shah says what? Because of their pride. Let's get that. Second Ezra, I believe that's 15. Second Ezra 15 and verse 18. For because of their pride, see that? Overconfidence, the city shall be troubled. right? And this is what's happening. It's like almost at least every other day now, Iran, so-called, hacked another city, hacked another, water municipality plant, you know. Now they're so-called, hitting these 911 systems, all right, which, this has Esau, written all over it because, all right, we understand and know that, as he's endeavoring to erect his end to the W to the O, all right, their agenda behind it is order ab chaos, okay? Create the chaos, okay, and then come back with order out of chaos. See? And what better way, all right, to have the world in a chaotic state, all right, than cyber attacks, hacking, because the whole world is at this point in time in history that the whole world is it relies upon the internet. You see, so the infrastructure of the world is very weak, is very fragile, and they understand and know this, and they're playing upon it, all right, for their agenda. So it says for because of their pride, but see that missiles is one thing. Okay, we prophesy about the missiles. The scriptures speak about the missiles. We see missiles. Okay, you know, actually being utilized now. All right. But ultimately, man, hey, even cyber warfare, man, is very deadly. You know, a motherfucker just hacking, okay, a city that people millions of lives can be lost just by a click of a mouse. That's how fragile the state of the world is right now. See, but this is all the plans and purposes of Yahweh Shemal Shah. All right. So it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right. 911 system being hacked. Okay, that leads to all of this. The city's going to be troubled. Okay, people going to run loose and are running loose. Houses are going to be destroyed. Okay, you can't call 911, somebody breaking in. Okay, somebody graping, your little daughter or your wife, all right. And men, it says, and men shall be afraid. Okay, and mind you, we are still in a green tree. So when this thing really dries up, man, society, when it really dries up in its fullness, yo, it's going to be dog eat dog, man. Right. So now I want to go back here, finishing this, the meaning of false sense of security. It says essentially it is a psychological state, all right, meaning it's a mindset where perceived safety does not match actual safety, all right, and it's a war in your mind. And once again, Esau's media helps to play in these people being psychologically safe, but in reality they're not. And it's and it kind of goes into how it manifests in real time, overconfidence, and then it speaks about technological reliance. See, it says technological reliance is trusting devices like security cameras or alarms without considering their limitations. See, it doesn't click to these Babylonians that these devices have limitations, because this system is set up. Esau has set the system up as salvation, as peace and safety, okay, as a God. But see, one thing that everybody's about to get a hard dose of is that this shit has limits, okay? And prophecy is what checks this place. Yahweh Shemal Shah has checkmated, okay, Babylon the Great, okay? And your leaders, okay, they're putting limits and restrictions upon it, man. All right, they don't give a damn about the order, okay, and the structure of their society. Okay, they need these people to delete themselves. You're doing the dirty work for Esau. It says misleading information, acting on inaccurate or incomplete data about risk. Let's get one more scripture. We're going to get into some videos. Let's grab this in Zephaniah 1. Zephaniah 2. Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 15, it says, this is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, right? And this city is speaking about, in context, it was speaking about us, okay, Jerusalem, all right, in the ancient world, but we can link this, all right, into, all right, this rejoicing city, Babylon the Great here in these times, all right, and how much more, see? So it says, this is the rejoicing city that dwells carelessly, all right, and as we just went into a few examples and reasons why, you know, these Babylonians, they dwell carelessly, the false sense of security, because of technology. Okay, they just feel like technology doesn't have any limits, doesn't have any bounds. Okay, they feel like 911 is always going to be operable. Okay, but people are starting to realize now, as you're being met with reality, it says, this is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, that said in her heart, I am. So, and see, that proves that this system, okay, especially right here in America, Babylon the Great, okay, it has a God complex. Along with these people, they have a God complex. They feel invincible. They feel autonomous. See, as long as they can eat, as long as they got running water, lights, 911, okay, a little gas in their car, they good. I am, says, and there is none beside me. How is she? See, this is going to be the end of it. How is she become a desolation? And we know how. See, and Yahweh Shema Shah has shown us how this place is going to be a desolation. Right now is as the Garden of Eden. Okay, but after those missiles come and eat this place up, it's going to be a desolate wilderness. See, that's how. Joel, the 2nd chapter. All right, and until we went into the sanctuary of Yahweh Shema Shah, then we understood their end. Now we understand the destiny of the wicked. All right. How has she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? And Elder Yashawama just went into a very edifying video a few days ago, going into, how are, these desert creatures going to dwell in Babylon, if it's destroyed, so I advise you to, watch that video. Remnant Saved 144. That's his channel, which, I mean, y'all know. For those who know, you know. All right. If you don't know what you're doing, it says, a place for beasts to lie down in. Everyone that passeth by her shall hiss and wag his hand. All right. So now let's go ahead and get this video. All right. Your boy Steve Ram, he on it. And where these other Israelite camps at? See, you got IGPK talking about General commanding Johanna never told Jake to get the dragon. Nigga, ooh, we. That's what you got to say, when you ain't got nothing, like you just at a loss for words, man. Like, damn, bro, you lying. You lying. You know that we know that you lying. See? So it's a judgment coming for everybody, man. Esau, these heathen nations, and you wicked ass Jakes, man. All right, I'm not even about to get into all that, man, because on my channel alone, I know you, Akima Akwath, can bear witness. I mean, how many times have I pulled up videos, coming straight out of General Johanna's mouth saying, go ahead and go get that dragon juice. I mean, I played that multiple videos of him saying that plenty of times on this channel alone, But false prophets, they're going to do what false prophets do, and that's a lie. Shit's crazy. All right, so this is Steve Ram breaking. U.S. cities shut down. All right, it's time for these cities to be shut the hell down, man. All right, and this the Lord plaguing Egypt as he did before. Let's grab this Baruch, the 4th chapter, because the scriptures not say, all right, the Lord's going to trouble these cities that we had to let's get it. Baruch chapter 4. Yep, Baruch 4 and 30. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem. All right, this proves that Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Because how can a land take a good heart? How can a land take a good mind? All right. So it says, take a good heart, O Jerusalem. All right. And this Jerusalem is speaking about is ultimately the heavenly Jerusalem, the spiritual Jerusalem. Okay, which is the elect, the first fruits, whose names are written in heaven. Okay, we went into that in class this past Saturday. Okay, the priest Tazama out here in Dallas, he went into that very edifying lesson, man. Going into, what does it mean to have your name written in heaven or to be found in the book of life? See that? So that's the Jerusalem, the heavenly Jerusalem, the spiritual Mount Zion, Hebrews 12 and 22. All right. And that's, Lord's willing, we're part of that number, but that's our original, that's our origin. That's our point of origin. Okay. If we're part of the elect, Lord's will is in the heavens. The elect is not of this earth. Okay. They are of the heavens, just as Yahweh Shai is. All right. Proverbs chapter 8, for my delight was daily with the sons of men before the earth was, created. You see that? So, the Lord has placed us on the path of immortality. He's placed us on the path to get back to our point of origin, man, because this shit right here, this is not it. Like, what the hell is this? All right. What are we doing right now? All right. It's another Monday in Babylon the Great. All right. So it says, take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. All right. And what does Jerusalem mean? All right. In the Hebrew, Yerushalayim, which means teaching of peace. Yerah means to teach, and Shalom, okay, is peace. So we're teaching peace. Okay. And the only way for peace to come, okay, it's going to require, okay, Yahweh shall to come back and wage war in righteousness. Okay, it's going to take war to bring peace, because we're dealing with a man, Esau Edom, who hates peace. He's the one that's taking peace from the earth. So it's only through this teaching that, okay, peace, all right, is going to, come back up on the earth. All right, from the Prince of Peace himself, Yahweh Shai. See, and this is how we're being comforted. Okay, it's by being taught peace. You see, and having hope in peace coming up on the earth, man. We don't really know what true peace is, man. To actually, well, we know it, but to actually see it play out in real time on the earth, we haven't seen it, man. See? And what do Yahweh Shai say in the Beatitudes, Matthew chapter 5? And I promise we'll get into this video and just, you know how the spirit is. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 4. Let's start at verse 3. This is one of my favorite chapters, man. The Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes. And that word Beatitudes means blessing, okay, or blessings. All right. This is what it truly means to be blessed. See, the world has its definition of being blessed, what it looks like, getting a new car, these tangible, carnal, material things, right? But this is who Yahweh Shai said is truly blessed. Matthew 5 and 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And that's us, man. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn. All right. And we've entered into the house of mourning. See, but take good heart. You're blessed if you're mourning right now. Because if you're not mourning, if you're rejoicing, okay, right now, you dumb as hell, boy. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Right. See, so you're going to be comforted. You sincere Akim and Akwath. And we're being comforted right now. All right. But that comfort's not going to stop. Says, blessed are the meek. And, we get into that word meek all the time. And in Greek, it means praus. That's the Greek word for meek, is praus. And it goes into, understanding and knowing that the evils that the Most High allows to be inflicted upon you by people or particular circumstances is being used, okay, to refine and to conform you to the image of Yahweh Shai if you're part of his elect. See? And how can we prove our meekness if we're never met with, bad times, evil times, or people or wicked people coming up against us? The Lord's will not do a lesson on that. I was meditating upon the fruits of the spirit the other day, and one of the fruits of the spirit that stuck out to me is long suffering, which it means exactly how it sounds. Long suffering means to suffer, having the spiritual fortitude to be able to suffer for a long time. How can we prove our long suffering to Yahweh Shema Shai if we're not suffering for a long time? See, because the Lord could have wrapped this thing up a long time ago. All right, but he hasn't. He didn't. Why? Because there's still things that he's pulling out of his elect, man. All right, as scriptures say in James chapter 5, behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruits of the earth. Who's the precious fruits of the earth? The first fruits, the elect. All right. And they're going to be producing the fruits of the spirit, man. But he has to see it first. All right. And we're almost there, man, because, brothers are growing in the spirit, man. All right. New believers coming into the fold every day. So Matthew 5:5, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Man. And you're hungry and you're thirsty whenever the body is lacking it. See, and this earth lacks righteousness. All right. So we're going to be filled, man. You know, we're ready to see, we're yearning, we're pining to see, okay, righteousness upon the earth, righteousness to be established, man. All right. So blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. All right. So now I want to go back to Baruch, and then we'll play this video. Baruch chapter 4 and verse 31. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall. And now the Lord is putting us in a position to where we got front row seats. Now we can see the fall of our enemy. Just as they rejoiced and they saw our fall, now we're looking at their fall. Okay. And now they're looking at us on the rise, on the come up. Psalms 20. Psalms chapter 20. That's what King David says. Psalms 20 and verse 8 in the NLT. Let's start at verse 7. Some nations boast of their chariots and horses, and that's especially Esau, Edom, Babylon the Great, the hammer of the earth. You know, Trump over here, we have the best military. We wiped out Iran's military. How many times you wiped out their military? You know, we have cutting edge technology, you know, but that's them boasting in their chariots and horses. It says, but we boast in the name of Yahweh B'Shem Shah, our power, man. See, that's what we boast in. Because in those names, we have protection. Okay. We have the victory. Okay. We got everything we need in those names. Verse 8, those nations will fall down and collapse. That's what we're witnessing. We're witnessing a collapse of all these nations. Why? Because Yahweh Shah is coming back. Okay. To take the crowns off the heads of all these kings up, you know. But right now he's undoing all the places. Okay. That's had us in bondage, man. As it says in Zephaniah chapter 3. So it says those nations will fall down and collapse. All right. And these cyber attacks, these, you know, hacking, you know, this critical infrastructure or whatnot is helping to forward the collapse of America, Babylon the Great. It says, but we will rise up and stand firm. See that? And that's what's happening, man. We're rising up. We're shaking off the dust. We're rising up and we're standing firm on the rock. And that rock is Yahweh Shah. Verse 9, give victory to our king. See that? And victory is going to come unto Yahweh B'Shem Shah, man. All right. And he's never lost, ever. Because all he's doing is he's playing chess with himself. So how can you lose when you're playing against yourself? You're going to win. See? And victory is going to come from the right hand. The left hand is not going to win. All right. This is why scriptures, you know, emphasizes. Let's grab this in Psalms 98 and verse 1. A song. Oh, sing unto the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shah a new song. See, and that's what we're doing. And through this new song, that's victory. We're singing victory. We're preaching victory for the elect. Says, for he have done marvelous things. His right hand, see that? His right hand and his holy arm have gotten him the victory. See? So victory is going to come from the right hand, not the left hand. So that's how we know Esau, hey boy, you done. You're going to lose. You are losing. This is why you're coming down with great wrath, because you're the ultimate crash out. You know? Psalms 29 NLT. Give victory to our King, O Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shah. Answer our cry for help. And that's what we're doing all day, every day. Okay? Whether we're, you know, verbally crying out for help to Yahweh B'Shem Shah in the form of praying, you know, doing these videos, preaching, or even if we quiet, our spirits is crying out, as it says in Romans the 8th chapter. You know, for sometimes we just don't necessarily have the words to, you know, to say and to pray into the Lord, but our spirits is yearning. You know, our spirits is crying out. So we're constantly crying out. Okay. And he's going to answer. All right. He is going to answer his elect. And how's he going to answer? He's going to say, come up hither. All right. So let's play this video. All right. This is Steve Ram. Breaking. U.S. city shut down. FBI investigates new attack. State of emergency. So I'm going to let it play for about 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes. And we'll come in and interject with some scriptures, man. What a time to be alive. And the Wadi Halba Shemal Shah.
Developing news coming out that one city in California is currently in a state of emergency as the FBI is investigating an entire city shutdown. We're hearing they're even saying right now you don't have to pay your bills in the city because right now nothing is operating. 911 cannot be reached. Systems have been shut down. The city is in a state of emergency. And like I said, FBI, DHS, CISA are investigating yet another cyber attack that has taken place on U.S. soil. Now, this comes as we're also hearing about more cyber attacks littering the United States. We're hearing that ports are being hit, in addition to what we've been hearing about water systems. And again, we do not have the identity of who is behind these, but there's a lot of speculation that this is Iran. Let me know your thoughts, and let's go ahead and take a look at the latest headlines so that way you can see it for yourself. Coming out in the last 24 hours, chaos in Suisan City declares state of emergency after hackers cripple 911 systems. Suisan City declares a state of emergency after cyber attacks. The North Bay city says a malicious software infected its systems on Friday morning, impacting public safety and other city services as well. Now, as I mentioned, this comes as, take a look in the last 48 hours. We've also been hearing North Carolina ports. They have confirmed cyber attacks are disrupting their operations. We're seeing a variety of cyber attacks hitting across the United States. And this comes as
Yeah, and I'm sure y'all remember that movie Obama had put together a few years ago called "Leave the World Behind." See, and what had the world, what had that society to spiral into confusion and destruction was those cyber attacks, and it had when those pamphlets were falling out that helicopter out the sky, it had that Iranian language on it, man. See, so they, of course, you already know that Canaanite Obama, he's juiced in or whatnot, so they're forecasting, this is their left-handed, prophecies, man. They put it in movies, they put it in cartoons, they put it in music. Okay. So we're here, and they've been, forecasting about, black swan events. All right, let me grab the scripture real quick. So life, as you know, is we keep saying it, okay, but listen, bro, life as you know it, this everyday monotonous, state of being, just this vicious cycle of waking up, okay, experiencing it every, another Monday in Babylon the Great, listen, this shit about to change, bro, and we need it. This is what we're looking forward to. All right, the way our faith is set up, we need a complete overhaul of this system. We need this place to be destroyed, man, from inside out. All right. So this is Sirach 18 and verse 26 in the GNT. Says things can change in a single day. The Lord Yahweh Shemal Shai can act very quickly. See that? Let's go back.
I've been sharing with you the updates on U.S. water systems in 12 states targeted in a wave of cyber attacks. And again, not full confirmation yet on who is behind these attacks, but
see, somebody put in the comment board, not my comment board, but his comment board, J-double-O's, Zephyr music videos, if you can see. He said J-double-O. See, everybody's on Amalek's head, man. Okay, the world is privy to this devil. Why? Because, all right, of this ministry. Okay, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. The son of perdition is revealed by the spirit of the Lord's mouth. All right. Who shall declare his way to his face? All right. And ultimately the prophets is doing that. Okay. But now the whole world is casting a taunting proverb against this devil, man. All right. So this is beautiful to see.
Iran likely behind the cyber attacks on the U.S. water systems. Sources say malicious cyber actors have attacked municipal water systems in at least 7 states. It has now gone up to 12. We've received confirmation on some of these states.
So 12 states, water municipality plants have been attacked. Okay, now, Suisan City in California, Their 911 system has been hacked. Okay, North Carolina port, okay, has been compromised. So this is we're literally witnessing a dismantlement, okay, of Babylon the Great from the inside out, man. And the missile is just going to be the cherries on the top. I was about to say the cherries on the top. That too, the chariots is going to be the cherry on the top as well, man. It's going to just finish things off. All right, but this place is being destroyed, man. All right.
And those include Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, South Dakota, Georgia, California, New Jersey, Oregon. These are just some of the states that have come out and announced, yes, we are the ones that have been hit. And also, we've heard warnings directly from the IRGC regarding our power grids in the United States. They've warned Donald Trump that if you conduct a massive attack against the energy in Iran, we will hit not only U.S. military bases in the region, but will also come after the homeland. And I also shared with you.
And that's going to happen, okay, because they will hit Iran's grid. That's Netanyahu's been calling for that, calling for Trump to do that. See, but the least of the flock has drawn them out, for sure. And but who's going to feel the brunt force of it is the American people. These Babylonians out here, man. All right, and this is what's going to feed into Egyptian against Egyptian. Okay, America being divided. These people are fed up, man, with their politicians, the so-called leaders. All right, they have no interest in the American people who they vow, to serve, but they have all the interest in the world, okay, for another country. You see, at the expense and sacrifice of your sons and daughters. See that?
In the last roughly 48, 72 hours, we also heard from Iran in an announcement Friday. They had said that they're also planning to develop missiles that can reach all the way across the world. And
hold up.
72 hours, we also heard from Iran in an announcement Friday. They had said that they're also planning to develop missiles that can reach all the way across the world and hit U.S. soil.
Come on, man. Hey, this is the type of news I like to wake up to on Monday morning. I go to work smiling on Monday. Why are you smiling? Because of prophecy. All right. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, man. This is how we take a good heart. Okay. Second Ezra chapter 16, because he says that Iran says that they're building missiles, which they already got them. The Lord just got them. They build them more and make them more. Okay, spare no arrows, right? But he said that Iran's talking about they got missiles. They're going to shoot across. I'm gonna play that again before we get to scripture.
From Iran in an announcement Friday, they had said that they're also planning to develop missiles that can reach all the way across the world.
All the way across the world. Second Ezra chapter 16. Y'all already know where I'm going. But this just, man, these scriptures are popping off the page, man. Second Ezra chapter 16. And verse, I'm going to get straight to the point down here at verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. And the bow is going into the missile silos, okay, in the ground, and also these submarines. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Come on, man. See, and that can't no regular conventional bow and arrow do that. You can't shoot. I'm talking about like a regular bow and arrow. I'm standing right here in DFW, Texas. All right. And I shoot an arrow from here all the way to China. No, come on, man. No. So what type of arrows is speaking about? The missiles, man. All right. And I did a lesson a few months ago. Let me see if I can find it. It's okay if I can't. But one of the RGC spokesman has said that Iran, or he said Persia has been sharpening their arrows for thousands of years. See that? That's prophecy, man. So this is making the scriptures, really, come to life.
And hit,
as scriptures say, in the end it shall speak.
U.S. soil. They said that this is something that they would like to do because it's time for Americans to feel what it's like to be hit with missiles on U.S. soil.
See that? She's no longer going to be a virgin, Isaiah 47. Because all this place knows is, that false sense of security, that illusion of, peace and safety. Okay, being a virgin, that state of, America's state of virginity, it doesn't know, major destruction, calamity. I mean, you've had the Civil War, but I'm speaking about it being touched, like these other nations are being touched right now. Parts of Iran and Gaza, Iraq, and all these particular different places that's been, hit by missiles and bombs, right? But America's about to feel that, man. It's no longer going to be a virgin. It's going to be touched in the worst way.
Wow. So I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. And as you guys know, here on the channel, I cite all the sources. So if you'd like to read any of these articles for yourself on the attacks on security systems, water systems, power grids, ports, they're all going to be hyperlinked in the description.
And all those things that he just mentioned, power grids, ports, water systems, like, this is critical infrastructure, especially for modern cities to run. Without these things, well, hell, water, I mean, shit, you need water is life, bro. So if you don't have these things, man, hey, life as you know it is civilization is done. You see, these cities being troubled, man. And it's going to lead to complete lawlessness. Let's grab this in 2nd Ezra chapter 15 in the G&T. Second Ezra 15, and we'll start up here at verse 5, and we're going to skip down. Second Ezra 15 and verse 5, get straight to the point. It says in the G&T, the Lord Yahweh Shah says, I am going to bring terrible disasters on the whole world. See, this is the doings of Yahweh Shah. Okay, whether he's using his left-handed vessel Esau, or they're coming directly from the Lord. At the end of the day, this is all the Lord's doings, man. See that? And what does he do? How does he work amongst the children of men? Psalm 66 and 5. Come and see the works of Yahweh Shah. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. See? And you people about to know the Lord through his judgments, man, his terrible judgments. All right. And that's what we want no part of as a hopeful elect. All right. And this is why, okay, we're doing those things to the best of our ability that pleases the spirit of Yahweh Shah. Okay. So let's go back to 2nd Ezra 15 in the G&T. 2nd Ezra 15 and 5. It says, the Lord Yahweh Shah says, I'm going to bring terrible disasters on the whole world, war and famine. Okay. And war is just not exclusive unto warheads being detonated, on the soils of, America and, these different countries, war. I mean, you got cyber war now. That's a form of warfare, and that results in death. You see, cyber warfare affecting, water plants. People don't have access to clean water. They can't bathe. They can't, so it's going to result in disease. It's going to result in famine, because what the farmers are going to irrigate their crops with. You see? So people don't even think about that. They just think about, I can't take a shower. No, nigga, shit, your farmers, the farmers are already lamenting, man. Okay, but with these cyber attacks hitting these water plants, well, especially like parts of like because I think he listed California. California is a major, contributor of, fruits and vegetables, here for America, man. So you compound that on top of the already existing, water supply strain, and the elites hoarding it up for these data centers, so-called. And I say so-called because that's just BS. That's just an excuse for them to, take control of the resources and monetize it and weaponize it against you. But we're just in the times of polycrisis, bro. Like, it's so much happening, you can't keep up. At the end of the day, scriptures just say what it say: war and famine, death and destruction. It says because wickedness has spread everywhere and evil has reached its limit. See that? So you people, you got bounds that you cannot pass, man. And the Lord is for a long time, the Lord has holding his peace. Okay, but now we're in the times to where he's about to let out that travailing cry. He's about to let it all out. He's about to vent his anger and his fury. Let's skip down here to verse 14 in the GNT. The world and the people in it are doomed. See that? The war, and we prophesy of doom. We are the prophets of doom. But doom is needed, because what's going to come out of doom, pursuant to 2nd Ezra chapter 7, and verse 43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time. And who represents the end? Esau. So the day of doom is going to be the end of Esau. This is why we proudly, prophesy of doom. We proudly wear that title, the prophets of doom. Okay, because that's going to be the end of Esau, his rule and reign of terror. It says, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. So if you're in the right spirit, if the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah is dealing with you, if you have the mindset of Yahweh Shema Shah, you're going to be looking forward to the day of doom. All right, because you know and understand that that's not the end all be all. See, Esau's rhetoric that he spread across the four corners of the earth is that, whenever, you mention apocalypse, the apocalypse or doom, World War III, that's just it. If he can't rule, can't nobody rule. That's going to be the end of life. That's going to be, that's going to be the beginning. All right. And that's what we know and understand. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, again, verse 14, GNT. The world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. What war is that talking about? The third woe. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. This don't even need no breakdown. I'm just going to read it. There will be great political turmoil, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control. All right, that's those horns speaking stiffly and proudly, as all these nations are trying to jump for next up in line and position of power. Okay, this is all a power struggle. See, but the Lord has us fighting the spiritual war. Okay, and scripture say the saints shall take the kingdom and shall possess it forever and ever, and even forever. All right. While ignoring the legitimate government, there will no longer be free access to cities. And it's going to be a lot of things that's going to play a part of, this coming to pass. No longer being, no longer having free access to cities. Cyber attacks, cyber warfare, martial law, all these things, man. So all this traveling, gadding abroad, going here, going there, this shit about to come to a screeching halt. So it says there will no longer be free access to cities, because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. All right. Just like in Suisan City, 911 system is down. He said you don't even have to pay your bills if you live there, because they can't, nothing is operable in that city. So it's just total confusion, terror, destruction. It says, driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. All right, so that's pretty much the point. I just wanted to touch into that. Once again, as the title of the lesson says, breaking 911 system hack in Suisan, California, and Babylon's illusion of security is being dismantled. All right, so Abaratazah, you Akim wa Akwaf, and tune in. Lord's willing, y'all were edified. Until next time, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh. Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Hakodash. I want to give double honor to my beloved apostle, Elder's Great Millstone, Muwaf Ball, Shalom.